Decimal numbers. It is common to multiply and divide numbers by 10, 100, 1000, and so on. Example, let's multiply 132 by 10. Multiplying 132 by 10 means multiplying 100 by 10, three tens by 10, and 2 units by 10. Therefore, 132 times 10 equals 1,320. Example, let's multiply 2 and 905 thousandths by 100. Multiplying 2 and 905 thousandths by 100 means multiplying 2 units by 100, 9 tenths by 100, 0 hundredths by 100, and 5 thousandths by 100. Therefore, 2 and 905 thousandths times 100 is equal to 290 and 5 tenths. Carefully observe that the decimal point that was between the 2 and the 9 in the factor is between the 0 and the 5 in the quotient after multiplying by 100. Example, let's multiply 875 thousandths by 1,000. Multiplying 875 thousandths by 1,000 means multiplying 8 tenths by 1,000, 7 hundredths by 1,000, 5 thousandths by 1,000, Therefore, 875 thousandths times 1,000 is equal to 875. Carefully observe that the decimal point that was between the 0 and the 8 in the factor is after the 5 in the quotient after multiplying by 1,000. Example, let's divide 85 by 10. Dividing 85 by 10 means dividing 8 tens by 10, 5 units by 10, therefore, 85 divided by 10 is equal to 8 and 5 tenths. Carefully observe that the decimal point that was after the 5 in the factor is between the 8 and the 5 in the quotient after dividing by 10. Example, let's divide 42 and 9 tenths by 100. Dividing 42 and 9 tenths by 100 means dividing 4 tens by 100. 2 units by 100. And 9 tenths by 100. Therefore, 42 and 9 tenths divided by 100 is equal to 429 thousandths. Carefully observe that the decimal point that was between the 2 and the 9 in the factor is between the 0 and the 4 in the quotient after dividing by 100. Example. Let's divide 125 by 1000. Dividing 125 by 1000 means dividing 100 by 1000. 2 tens by 1000. And 5 units by 1000. Therefore, 125 divided by 1000 is equal to 125 thousandths. Carefully observe that the decimal point that was after the 5 in the factor is between the 0 and the 1 in the quotient after dividing by 1000. You can now be more efficient when multiplying or dividing a number by a power of 10. Example, 5 and 32 hundredths times 10 equals what? Observe the movement of the digits. Therefore, 5 and 32 hundredths times 10 is equal to 53 and 2 tenths. Example, 1 and 742 thousandths times 100 equals what? Observe the movement of the digits. Therefore, 1 and 742 thousandths times 100 is equal to 174 and 2 tenths. Example, 38 hundredths times 1000 equals what? Observe the movement of the digits. Therefore, 38 hundredths times 1000 equals 380. Example, 12 and 8 tenths divided by 10. Observe the movement of the digits. Therefore, 12 and 8 tenths divided by 10 is equal to 1 and 28 hundredths. Example, 345 divided by 100. Observe the movement of the digits. Therefore, 345 divided by 100 is equal to 3 and 45 hundredths. Example, 28 divided by 1000. Observe the movement of the digits. Therefore, 28 divided by 1000 is equal to 28 thousandths.